at Dr. Ejeku, Kama, and the others. People died. And your man of Oyata, he has fled. After killing thousands of people, he has fled. And you are cheerleading and supporting him not to even come. So, me, this thing, on the balance, I think the NDC policy is better. Let's.
Comparison about both NPP and NDS no. Where see me government a boduma essen wo government. Where see me so me government a boduma essen wo government. Mr.
Speaker, I stand before this House with a deep sense of pride and confidence, born out of strong performance in the last 1.5 years in the management of the Ghanaian economy. Right, Honourable Speaker, this confidence is grounded in sound policy, in evidence, in measurable performance, and in credible data, and most importantly, in the lived experience.
Statements are merited. You're saying that the inflation targeting of plus or minus 2% on the 8, yes, that band was there since you were a boy. I doubt it. That thing started informally around 2002. I don't think 2002 you were a boy, right? It's a boy. It started informally around 2002. Then the Bank of Ghana made it official in 2007. All right. Now, the decade before 2002, inflation was roughly about 28%. So it's not correct that it's always been like that.
No, what I mean is that it's been long term. I mean, from 2002,
so that's correct.
From 2002, it's not.
2002, how old were you?
I'm still a boy then. I was in my 20s. I was in my 20s.
So
I'm a boy.
You're a man. So you see that with that, because if you say a boy, actually at the point you mentioned 10, since you were 10.
Growth, whether little or small, we're experiencing now, has not created as much jobs as we could have hoped for.
Okay, you want to?
So I just wanted to.
Yes,
I just wanted to provide this. You see, this is a legitimate thing, and I'm sure the Ministry of Finance will react to that. But from the earlier submissions, I got the impression that the growth that we are seeing here was largely because we are not spending, or also gold and others. Look, I just saw from the Bank of Ghana's website this an indicator that they used to decompose the growth. What are the contributors of the growth? And you realize that
that's what the minority said, that this is.
Yes.
And that's what Richard Ahiagbah says is Galaxy-induced growth.
Yes.
That so much of it mining and query.
Why don't you wait? When you come back to him, then you can make that point. Because the things he said, I have a response.
It's okay. No problem.
Okay, so let's correct a few of the statements that were merited. You're saying that the inflation targeting of plus or minus 2% on the 8, yes, that band was there since you were a boy. I doubt it. That thing started informally around 2002. I don't think 2002 you were a boy, right? It's a boy. It started informally around 2002. Then the Bank of Ghana made it official in 2007. All right. Now, the decade before 2002, inflation was roughly about 28%. So it's not correct that it's always been like that.
No, what I mean is that it's been long term. I mean, from 2002.
So that's correct.
From 2002, it's not.
2002, how old were you?
I'm still a boy then. I was in my 20s. I was in my 20s.
So
I'm a boy.
You're a man. So you see that with that, because if you say a boy, actually at a point you mentioned 10, since you were 10. You said since you were 10.
No, I said, no.
You mentioned
I was a boy.
Since you were 10. Me, I had 10. We can play back the tape. Don't forget,
I said the upper band.
Economics.
The upper band was, I say, is 10.
One of my comments would have been, it doesn't matter.
I said the upper band is 10.
It matters what we achieve.
Are we committed to achieving it?
It's good to this is correct for the record.
Yes.
We are the biggest station. So if he says it's been like that since he was a boy,
it definitely wasn't like that.
So now we are saying before 2002 it had been roughly 28%.
What I mean is that band has been established to be the balance.
And I'm saying that's from 2002.
That's okay. I was still a boy then. I was still a boy then. I mean, that's That's
now,
a fact.
yes. Now let's
No, that's
go.
well noted to me.
Yeah. It's good that this because don't forget, before I became a lawyer, I went to business school, so I still have the fundamentals of economics. So anything you say that it doesn't sound well.
But there's no point. That was not a contentious point. I'm only establishing.
You say it's always been like that. I think we should move on.
Gentlemen,
Yeah,
let's-
it's
Because I don't see what you're trying to correct. I was
let's
just
move
stating
on.
the fact of plus or minus 8 as a band that has been set. That's
Okay.
all.
Council, please.
Yeah, so
to correct
now,
about that.
you see, I've listened to both sides. Yes, Atta is very good on the numbers, crunching the numbers, Joe Jackson, everybody. Yeah, but you see, what I see is that this debate has never, ended. Basically, what they are saying, if we put it in economic theory, so that's the debate between the Keynesians and the classicals. Yes, okay. That's the theory. So the Keynesians are saying that's the NPP people, what they are saying, that, overspend, do a deficit to stimulate growth, right? But the classicals, they will tell you that when you do long term, it doesn't help because what you end up doing is that you crowd out Joe Jackson and co. You crowd out the private sector, and you would lead, among other things, to a loss of confidence in the economy and the whole system. So this debate is always been there because the Keynesian theory, he came in 1936, right? So before that, the classical one was reigning. Then Keynes came with his theory that no. If you did, you can stimulate growth, and then that can lead to jobs, etc. But the classicals, I say no. Long term, you cause a damage. So it depends on your philosophy. So now let's look at the practicals. What happened when you came and you kept doing your Keynesian theory of this deficit financing? What did you do? You led us into a ditch.
54% inflation.
Excellent. And what happened? So long term, you broke the economy. We went to jam status. So you see what the classical theory had always been saying. That long term, you destroy the economy. And that's what you did. That is what you did with your deficit spending. Atta mentioned it. 2022, 37 billion you overspent. Then the one before,
30 billion.
30 billion. You see it. And other figures. So you see that on the ground, your method doesn't work well. It doesn't work well. Look at the damage. The damage to the financial sector. This DDEP. People died. Look at Dr. Ejekun, Kama, and the others. People died. And your man of Oyata, he has fled. After killing thousands of people, he has fled. And you are cheerleading and supporting him not to even come. So this thing, on the balance, I think the NDC policy is better. Let's keep the discipline, because the classical school, they will tell you that keep the discipline. The discipline long term would help. Because what use is it if you don't support the private sector itself to be able to create jobs? What use is it? Yeah. You say, oh, yeah, we are helping, you are helping. Then you took the money for yourselves. You didn't give it to them. It wasn't spent in a sensible manner as to support the private sector to create real growth. You were sharing the money. Sanagu, is before you became the former. Isn't what Tete, Mrs. Tete, Felicia Tete. So you were distributing the COVID funds. You distributed it and chopped all and landed us in a ditch. And then you are still preaching so you see that maybe it's a trap to you guys that what they did and landed us in a ditch. You should continue so that you also land us in a ditch so that they can quickly come. That's the way I see it. Because you can advise.
There's a little intervention here. Some of us argue strongly that because of our underlying corruption, this issue of spending leads to even faster trouble than you would see in other comparable economies. That that canker of corruption that leaks maybe sometimes up to 40% of all the spending away means that the Keynesian way may not work in our economies very well.
Thank you.
I think that the concern is about the measure of the constrained expenditure. Yeah. So that you can constrain expenditure, which you have acknowledged and applauded. Yeah. But then it must not be at the expense of the stimulated growth that you would have been achieved if you were spending in targeted and specific, sectors of the economy. That's the concern that has been raised as to and the accusation that Ato Forson is not spending, right?
No.
Yes. No.
Okay.
Yeah. No, but Mr. Cassiel, I think we are saying, I'll repeat the point. We're saying that their accusation that they are not spending, we can only understand it from their record. I thought I read it. From their record of binge what? Spending, binge borrowing and binge spending, and then throwing the economy into disarray. A tailspin, right? So we cannot use their method. Let's go with the classical school. Be balanced. Be balanced. You heard Ahiagbah say it. You heard the deputy minister say it. You heard Joe Jackson say it. You can't spend what you don't have. Let's be more balanced. And in the balance, you see, that's the data you've put out there. In the balance, and Ahiagbah mentioned it, they've been trying to what? Do social protection. So you see the primary health care, all right? You see all the details on primary health care. You see the school feeding. You see LIP. Yes, so in the process of being balanced, the government, the budget seeks what? Take care of the vulnerable. Because look, I don't want to experience another DDEP. You see, it looks like we're just glossing over the point that DDEP has damaged us long term. It looks like we're just glossing over long term. Long term, people are not going to readily trust the financial system with their money. You know, long term, what that has done, people would prefer to keep their money under their beds, etc. So, because of the long-term damage that this DDEP has done as a result of their overborrowing, etc., look, let's stick with the classical school. Cut your coat according to your cloth.
Okay.
Cut your coat according to your cloth. Let's not go and do this big borrow. Next time, when they get a chance to come back, they can try it again. Then we'll see. But for now, we haven't recovered from the damaging effect of what they did. So why the rush to go and overborrow? We are still paying for what the damage they caused. You haven't finished recovering from the damage, and then there's an advice that continue what? Overspending. How? Who does that? Then it means that we are not learning from our history. And then perhaps, I'm not an economist, but there's this, I thought you guys can look at it. You know, in the U.S., there's a Federal Reserve. One of their mandates is job creation, employment. That is the mandate. So how about maybe we should have a proper national conference, debate it, learn from them, because they help. When you look at the U.S. Federal Reserve, job creation, employment is part of their mandate. So that since we all are aspiring to a situation where the central bank will be fully independent, you know, we are making efforts gradually to build as we have more elections, and then as a people we become wiser, etc. Hopefully to become more independent, so that we'll see how the Bank of Ghana will make constitutional amendments, etc., to add job creation, employment to them. Of course, learning, I'm not saying you're going to do that, but let's have a debate. Let's look at the U.S. model.
Right.
How has it helped them? Because in the U.S., the Federal Reserve, that's their central bank, that's employment. So as they do their quantitative easing, right, all those things, they are looking with an eye to help the economy grow, to promote jobs. You see, because as for politicians, they always come and go, but the central bank will always be there. So shouldn't we have a debate to see what we can do in that regard?
Perfect. While we round up on this, yes. While we round up on this,
being punched from.
Okay, no. Respond. While we round up on this,
it's the usual, and I suppose that was why when I was glorifying TV3 video.
Let's round up.
But the point, the point here is that Ahiagbah, my good friend, essentially just went talking about the past, which they repudiated, which was the basis they won the election. But he's going back to that past when he's supposed to be delivering better. His best example is the past, which he says was not good enough, and he was coming to show us good result. But his good result now is standing in a point where the past actually even looks better than it. Now, also, he goes back to read to us an IMF literature which validates the position that they are actually underspending. Now, let me come to my brother, Lawyer Kpebu. He's talking about classical and Keynesian economics. But he makes the gross mistake. We are not Keynesians, the New Patriotic Party, ideologically. We are classical economists. We come from the supply side, believing that the market will self-regulate. Now, the NDC rather are the Keynesians. You see, if you look at the economy of Akufo-Addo, when we came in from 2017, 18, 19, those 3 fiscal years, the record stands alone. But of course, lawyer makes the convenient focus on the difficult times that we faced in COVID. The NDC has not seen COVID. They have not seen anything remotely close to that. Okay, just flooding, they were caught pants down. With just one season rain. Even when they were told that this year's rain was going to be above average, they were not prepared for it. Today, the finance minister is telling us, oh, give me time, 2027, I'll deal with all flood issues in Accra or in Ghana. We are waiting. But I'm telling you that they have not seen COVID. Akufo-Addo and the NPP, we saw COVID. But before COVID, I don't think that anybody, including Lawyer Kpebu, will indict the economic performance of the Akufo-Addo NPP government before 2019.
We were high potential debt distress. Read the IMF report. 2019.
No problem.
A statement I made here.
No problem.
In 2019.
Of course, I know why.
Where the economy was
No problem.
And that was before COVID.
No problem.
Yeah.
No problem. Okay. So I see a reason why you make that statement, why the lawyer will make that statement, why you make the statement. But the World Bank makes a statement. In that same year that you were making your statement, the World Bank makes a statement, and that statement is to the effect that the Ghana's economy is amongst one of the fastest growing economies in the world, 2019. Check it. If that was the same year, if that was the same, no.
Because the same World Bank.
Well, you and the World Bank, he was reading IMF. Now you are challenging World Bank. No problem. Me, I'm not the one who said it.
We're talking
if
about
you are challenging the World Bank,
accumulation of
no
debts,
problem.
and the risk
I am just saying, hold on now.
Debt service.
I'm saying, hold on. I'm saying that you say that you challenge the World Bank. But you don't want to.
I'm challenging your interpretation of the World Bank report for.
I've not interpreted anything. I'm saying that the World Bank report says the designation for it is that Ghana's economy is among one of the fastest growing economies in the world. If you dispute that, go and talk to the World Bank, not me. So I'm not interpreting that.
You are quoting which specific
but
report?
That one is not,
the World Bank released quite a
doesn't
number
contradict what they did.
Yeah,
it can be growing, but jobless growth, etc.
I see. So now you don't different between jobs.
Yeah, you were over borrowing.
No problem. But the World Bank said it. Okay, you can just Google it. Let your very hardworking producers put it on the screen. When I say put things on the screen, don't put it. The video.